They say headlines are lightning, but history is the storm behind them. Why is Trump dropping bombs on Iran? It's not a question that comes with short answer. This is deeper, darker, and it's been decades in the making. Let's break it down right now on the Anything History channel. On June 21st, 2025, US B-2 stealth bombers flew over Iran. They dropped massive bunker-buster bombs, 30-ton weapons known as massive ordnance penetrators, on Fordow, a facility buried deep under a mountain. Tomahawk missiles hit Natanz and Isfahan. Drone strikes and missiles wiped out Iran's most sensitive nuclear enrichment sites. President Trump addressed the nation, calling it a very successful military operation and warning that if Iran does not make peace, there are many more targets left.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
This attack wasn't random. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran has been building for decades, and this strike is part of a much longer story. Let's rewind. In 1953, the CIA helped overthrow Iran's Prime Minister Mossadegh, laying the groundwork for long-term resentment. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution swept away the U.S.-backed Shah. That same year, American diplomats were taken hostage in Tehran, kicking off the Iran hostage crisis. In 1988, a U.S. Navy ship shot down Iran Air Flight 655, killing nearly 300 civilians, a tragedy that still haunts U.S.-Iran relations. Through the 2000s and 2010s, the two countries clashed through cyber attacks, covert sabotage, and proxy wars in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. In 2018, Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, ramping up sanctions and tightening the noose on Iran's economy. In 2020, a U.S. drone strike killed General Qassem Soleimani, one of Iran's most powerful military figures, raising fears of all-out war. This 2025 strike? It's the latest chapter in a long book written in blood and betrayal. Before the attack, Trump gave Iran an ultimatum: end its nuclear ambitions or face consequences.
But I'm giving them a period of time, and I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Iran stayed quiet. Trump responded with force. In his speech, Trump insisted he still sought peace but warned, this cannot continue. Iran must make peace or tragedy will follow.
If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel.
Meanwhile, in Washington, lawmakers were split. Some praised Trump's boldness. Others blasted him for bypassing Congress, calling it a reckless move that could ignite a regional war. The Fordow facility, located over 300 feet underground, was targeted with bunker busters designed to tear through reinforced concrete. These bombs are so heavy they can only be carried by B-2 stealth bombers. And the U.S. is the only country that owns them. Even within the Pentagon, there was debate. Some questioned whether the bombs would fully destroy the facility or merely delay Iran's nuclear progress by a few months. Regardless, the message was clear. This was no warning shot. It was a direct hit at the heart of Iran's nuclear program. And Iran responded. Almost immediately, Iran launched waves of drones and missiles at Israel. Some were intercepted by air defenses. Others got through. Casualties are still being counted. Oil prices jumped. Global markets braced for fallout. The United Nations called for restraint. But on the ground, it felt like the fuse had finally reached the powder keg. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu praised the strike, calling it necessary and historic. Iran called it an act of war. Now here's the bigger picture. This wasn't just a military decision. It was political, historical, strategic. It was also risky.
Most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades.
History has shown time and again that targeted strikes can spiral. From Baghdad to Beirut, retaliation rarely comes in one wave, and Iran has a long memory. The question now is this: will Iran fight back directly or use its proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis to wage a shadow war? Will this attack bring Iran to the negotiation table or push it to accelerate its nuclear efforts in secret? Can the U.S. balance force with diplomacy, or is this the beginning of a broader Middle East conflict? Right now, no one can say for sure. But here's the truth. These bombs weren't just aimed at uranium and concrete. They hit something older, deeper, generations of hostility. A pattern of tit for tat that neither side has broken. If you came here for breaking news, this is your context. If you want to understand the why, not just the what, this is a history behind the headline. This is the Anything History Channel. If you're into stories that make sense of the day by unpacking the past, subscribe and stick with us, because there's always more to the story. Stay curious.